everybody else, the Minister of Education should go out and seek anybody calling themselves doctor without without.
But then what about the religious titles?
Let me go on the religious.
Yes.
If you call yourself a religious title, it should have been registered in the registration of act when you are registering.
Yes.
Your articles of association, and it is here written.
Yes.
You submit all your constitution and everything.
Yeah.
It should be there in the articles that this is the way you become a bishop. Ourselves, you say you are licensed even before you become ordained.
Yes.
We license ministers,
yes,
and they get a government license for preaching. So you have an article, and if the minister, the registrar of society should also be arrested for registering quacks, because he should have examined the articles and known their structures.
Yeah.
Who is the treasurer, who is the chair, who are the trustees of the property, because now, like these churches, the property belongs to the leader. No organization can be registered to collect money from the public and go with the money. I talked with one pastor the other day. I asked him, how do you run your church? Who to collect the offering on Sunday? He told me, one month I collect 60,000. Do you pay tax? No. Why? Because that there's nowhere I put it in my bank account. I asked him personally.
Yes.
He's a friend of mine. Then I asked, how do you spend the money? He said, I use 40,000 for myself, 20,000 I pay my pastors. I asked him, supposing your pastors, or what you call pastors, you don't get 60,000. Yes. I don't pay them. The Ministry of Labor should also come in and protect employees.
Exploitation.
Who a man takes 40,000 shillings. Yes, he does not deduct. Yes. But when the offering is low, he does not pay his pastors regularly.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, here is the government failure to stick to the law.
Sure,
and I thank the Law Society, because it's the only organization, I think, in Kenya which disciplined its people. You are the media has not disciplined its people, because whoever was offering Kanyari all that facility, it should his license for broadcast withdrawn.
Why?
Because he has offered quackism. But he has offering a license to the quack.
Ordinarily the media would censor what should go on air. But if you as Reverend Joya comes and says, I want 1 hour, I'm paying for the airtime, should I be as a media, you don't have the mandate to say, I cannot allow you, without, one, being accused of trying to discriminate against you, two, of censorship of your content, okay, and obstructing your right to freedom of expression.
No, I'm not asking you to go that long, or that far. All I'm asking you to do is that if you should not abet crime in Kenya.
By offering a medium.
You should not be an accomplice.
Yes.
Or even aid a criminal. It is against the Kenya law, criminal law.
Yes.
I can't remember couple 72. I don't remember which act.
Yeah.
You cannot abet or aid or hide a criminal.
Yes.
You get me?
That's true.
If such a person is stealing, and selling miracles when you know he is not God, he cannot perform a miracle.
Now, take the example.
You are offering that person, and a person is people are practicing how what is that? There was a person Jesus came to heal, a madman, and he was being confused by the demons.
Yes.
Those demons are also, they are ethnic, and they are territorial. They are not there in Nyeri. They are only in certain tribes. And they are only in certain churches. They are also sectarians. So when a person comes with people who practice in a boardroom, how they shall act and say they are being confused, the demons, like.
Yes. Coached, yes.
There is coached. There was only one case in Jesus Christ. How does he get 10? And you ask yourself, Jesus got only one case of that kind of character. And this means that every Sunday he is getting cases of that kind. I think.
But as I said before, these things are not even Kenyan. As I said before, we are learning from outside. There is a guy who came here. He went to University of Nairobi, Ben Hill. He was doing like this. These people are falling down.
Yes.
Surely.
Yeah.
That's conmanship. We try to go there to
now on that other side of things. Because
we are learning from them.
That's an important question.
Are we denying people perhaps in our society who have supernatural powers and that can be useful to curing some of our problems by discriminating against them or attacking them?
No, I think perhaps what we need to say is that Christian ministry requires a growth process.
Yes.
It doesn't matter which type of gift you have.
Yes.
Because to be a novice is a human experience. You are born, you grow.
Yeah.
When you mature, you become the wiser.
Yes.
When Paul began preaching, he went to a place where one man rises up and tried to oppose him from preaching.
Yes.
He declared the man blind immediately, and the man became blind. He never did that again.
Yes.
As going forward, he realized that the power I have been given
must be used
is not to blind people.
Yes.
Because if I have been rescued from sin and somebody is still a sinner, I don't expect him to be acting righteously the way I am acting.
Yeah.
I expect that he can listen to the gospel and also be transformed.
Yeah.
These characters, by their fruits, we can tell they are not men of God. They don't even know God.
Okay.
So they come here from America, from where, from Germany.
Yeah.
They come here, make money, and go away, and we allow it.
There's some checking. And let me warn you also. You are telling us to measure ourselves by the parameters of American analysts, and yet you are blaming us for following them. Now, since we came here, both of us, we are measuring ourselves by the Kenyan standards. And we are answering our own problems. Yes. Now you are telling us to answer American problems. And I think that is, you are bringing imperialism. Let me tell you one thing. Because Americans make mistakes, or British. Don't tell me.
We learn from them. These conmen who are here are learning from conmen from
I don't think we learn from them. It is prone to us also to be cheat. And I think we should confess our own sins, not pass the buck. And I tell you, if you see a person who is making money out of the gospel, it's not because Americans are doing it. It's because he himself has seen a loophole. He has seen how he can make money. And I think that we should be accountable, and I say that we have Kenya laws. We have the Ministry of Education, which accords academic degrees, and it is not doing anything. It's allowed even in the people Mitichaba. You see these people who sell drugs, herbalists. It's they are calling themselves doctors. And the Ministry of Education has not intervened and saying that you are not a doctor. I'm saying that when you have this kind of
Dr. Njoya,
society which is chaotic,
there's something that okay, this is an omission by the clergy of the religious leadership in this country. When people are proclaiming themselves reverends, pastors, bishops, apostles, prophets, where is the church that thinks this is wrong? I mean, this is happening. We would say this is a professional failing. No. We don't hear the churches saying there's a problem here.
No, we are right here.
Is it because, let me finish this, Kisaka, so you can answer in full. Is it because there is perception of envy between people within a certain field, that if you criticize them, they'll say, no, you are dormant, you have no fruits. That's why we are healing people. You are not healing. We are doing this, you are not doing it. We are prophesying, you can't prophesy. So there's a certain shyness from the mainstream to criticize what they see as wrong.
You see, that question, Mutegi, and Makali, sorry, it needs to be answered from the perspective of saying we have a responsibility within our churches to teach our people the truth. There's so much being peddled around, but our number one responsibility is to teach our people the truth. Our second responsibility is to maintain the standards by which we would want others to maintain themselves. So that if somebody was to question today, we can say we actually do not do that. The third thing then is to be able to speak to what's happening in society. Now, the law does not give other church leaders to go investigating who is doing which kind of ministry.
Yes.
If somebody introduces himself and he says, I am a pastor, what right do I have to say, looking at you, I don't think you're a pastor? You can only know if certain fruit gets demonstrated, which tells you that this thing is wrong. And I am sitting here saying something that, like this one of Kanyari, is wrong.
Yeah, but leave alone Kanyari.
how
I mean, Mutegi is talking about pastors nowadays who touch and do all manner of things
but
and
it's
heal
touching wrong.
and proclaim people to have healed from very dangerous
let's look at this
ailments
like
that are not curable.
I can do everything they are doing myself. I know I can do. But the thing is that I know the tricks I'm playing.
Yes.
I can do say you if I touch this vein here like that, you'll fall. It doesn't matter whether I'm praying or not. The blood, I choke the brain from having blood.
Yes.
And I can also hypnotize you. I used to hypnotize people at one time. That when I was at the moon.
Before you grew.
No, to demonstrate. You see, we used to interrogate our boyfriends. We used to have a group of boys. We would hypnotize some to tell us their girlfriends when they didn't tell us. Or to tell us with whom they slept.
Yes.
It was not good. My wife doesn't like me what we were doing that time, but you can hypnotize people to tell you everything about their secrets. So we say that you can play tricks on human beings in every way. Hypnotism is a profession in some countries. And when you practice it in the church, like it was discovered Kanyari people were using chemicals to say they are washing. All these are tricks. What you see people are doing is tricks. But I'm saying tricksters and the quacks do exist in every profession, or whether it's in law, or whether it's in media, or everything. What we need is to allow the government itself, and I don't want a new registration. Let me tell the Attorney General, don't bring new registrations.
Yes.
And even don't bother about this. This law, I read it, and it is here. 5 pages. It's so clear that these people would not exist if the government were
just doing its part.
Were doing its part. Because they would not get regulation because they would be asked, how do you account for the money? Did you go with the money and you collected it from the public? That is a crime. The organization should be sure how it spent the money. For instance, when I was in Keno, I would collect one per year. Let's say 15 million or so. Where did the money go? I only got 6,000 or so salary. Where did the rest go? Paying head office, maintaining presbytery, maintaining our school. We have a high school, we have a computer school, we have a tailoring school, we have workers, the cleaners. All that money goes to serve the public because that school has no presbytery. It is students from over Kiabu.
Yes.
On another place.
So the best practice is that the pastor should pay Anna salary. The other money should go towards the church.
And the articles
goes to the church account.
The articles of registration do ask you how your organization is. Who monitors whether you do it? When you don't do it. We Presbyterians and Anglican and Methodists and Catholic have our own internal mechanisms of checking that happened. And we make reports annually. Whether it's a group, I said, whether it's a woman guild, whether it's a men's fellowship, they must make how they spent their money when they collected. But when you don't have a church with internal mechanisms, then the government was wrong to register it.
Yes. Why was it registered in the first place? And even if it was registered and it's not practicing well, can they tell us on the basis of reports they have that actually it is not doing well? Because a situation like this one, to explode when it did, I would say to Professor, his problem is that he doesn't have enough staff or they are not doing their job. Because this law is very clear. By the time you get annual reports and know what services the church is offering, get audited accounts and know that the accounts are healthy, know that these people are paying tax, personal tax out of their salaries. By the time you get all that, you will be able to tell whether this person is a person of integrity or not. So there is a way in which you can easily paint the church negatively when less than 1,000 out of 100,000 pastors in this country are wrong and misusing this opportunity, and instead of being treated as criminals, they are now being labeled pastors and the church is being mudslung.
Okay, that was wrong. I said that was wrong, very, very wrong for the government to react the way it reacts, as if all churches are wrong. I tell you, all the 27 churches of the NCCK, and I'm a member of the General Assembly, and I'm a member of the Executive. I'm his employer. But I'm saying none of them should be included in this. I said karaoke and the evangelicals should deal with their internal matters, not us. We should be, we the mainline churches, the Catholic should be removed. And Mr. Gethu, the Attorney General, should focus not even on all evangelicals. He should not blame everybody. one rotten egg does not make all eggs rotten.
But these churches are very popular. You talked about prosperity gospel.
Prosperity gospel.
These people, they come and they preach to single mothers, unemployed people, young people, give them motivation, they encourage them. They say you don't have to be poor, you don't have to be unemployed, do something about it. What's wrong with that?
Which Presbyterian did you find poor? We also encourage people not to be poor. We established school. I Shuka, where I worked in your area.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
How many schools did I run in one small single area? Every 2 kilometers there was a school, wasn't it? The same in Mukoroni where I come from. If there was a dispensary, there was everything.
But then people go to school.
Isn't that innovating people not to be poor? Why don't they use the money, instead of healing people by miracles, why didn't they say that Jesus healed people in every way, chemically every way? Why don't they also establish hospitals with that money instead of aggrandizement? Why do they establish schools? I myself in my congregation, we have established a high school for the local community. Why don't they abolish ignorance instead of exploiting ignorance? Instead of exploiting gullibility, why can't they train people to think, to be rational? So I'm saying that the registrar of societies is wrong to register people to steal.
After the discovery of the expose on Kanyari, the church is still continuing.
The church will continue.
That church.
Oh, you're talking about that
particular
church?
church.
They went there on Sunday. The following Sunday he was there.
Yeah.
They went
So
there, and
is it?
Then the congregation was full.
That's what I'm saying.
Unfortunately.
What does this say about the
Yeah.
congregations and people in this country? That are people that desperate, or is there a disappointment with the traditional church, the customary church, the way we have the mainstream? Let me call the mainstream.
It is not,
that people are saying they're not getting sufficiently fulfilled,
Yeah.
or their needs satisfied, that they have to look everywhere and outside to get the satisfaction and spiritual
I'll tell you what
fulfillment.
Jesus said. Jesus said, they cannot put up with the truth. Who has got time for this church which is saying follow procedure? You want to marry, they say bring your girlfriend. 6 months of classes, you know?
Like
you know, who wants to go to this kind of church which insists on things being right? And Jesus said, you have rejected the truth. You are going to bring unto yourselves teachers who are teaching falsehoods. So there is a sense in which this human desperation is actually an avoidance of responsibility. But my point is that this thing is a national culture. Unfortunately, what Kanyari is doing is happening in all the professions. The culture of our country, there's a problem that needs healing.
In fact, somebody says that your feedback there, somebody, you know, you can of course participate in this conversation on the SMS number on the screen, 22422. And there is quite a bit here. Somebody says that, please talk, okay, somebody says Kenyans, what is going on in the church is exactly what is going on in the Kenyan health sector, where every Kenyan today is a health doctor.
Yeah.
The Cabinet Secretary for Health is asleep, and the media is promoting them daily because I think of herbal medicine and the things, you know, the clinics that are advertising on air. Somebody says that, I think is not agreeing with the enjoy. But so somebody talk about dressing in church and how women are dressing nowadays in the mainstream. Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about dressing.
Yeah. Dressing, unfortunately, you see, the church is an amazing institution. I rarely hear Dr. Njoya, anybody waking up to commend the church for the good it's doing. The church is taken to task when things are considered to be going wrong. I think new styles of dressing are a desperate attempt by people to catch attention. Now, if I say that, I'll get in trouble with the public, because they are saying, what right do you have to tell me how to dress? But the truth is, there is a level of common decency that should be preserved in society. Once you begin seeing somebody trying to break those limits, they are trying to tell you, I'm also here. You know, it's an attention-seeking mechanism.
Yes.
Yeah, my grandmother used to make siondo. and he used to pull down her dress up to here, even your mother, and to do like that to make to
make the strings.
To make the strings. It wasn't bad because it was our culture didn't have obscenities like now come to the West. We are mentally polluted by the West. Even today in Turkana, I saw in the picture women going naked during Haga area, and I saw some in the coast, some people wearing scanty dresses. So what you say is that it is urbanization which makes us look at women as objects and as sexual objects. And if you are polluted, your mind, the dirtiness is in the look and not in the beauty in the eyes of the beholder. It is you who is dirty in your side to see somebody as naked. Because you know, even if they dress like a corino, or they dress to the leg, if you know physics or physiology, you know how they look like, what they are covering. So why should you be bothered because of a short? I think the mental pollution of men and aggression against and taking women as sexual objects. And I think it's wrong because, like, when I don't want to, maybe my would like me to mention this. We used to, our children were breastfed, irrespective, even in an aeroplane. For Westerners, they were very interested to see what an African is doing to her baby. But today, we are old. Today, if you show your breast in public, and all children were fed in public, by not covered, there was not nakedness. But you go to Nairobi and show Mogeki any breast, he'll attack you because he grows polluted, and he is pollution and he exudes pollution if he does that. But I'm saying we should not allow women to be women and to feel and to wear the way they feel.
You're saying we should or we should not?
We should allow them to wear the way they feel attractive, because we all must attract and we must be attracted. I've always screened my chorus so that I'm attractive. It is always white.
Okay.
And I feel bad when I see a person with a dirty chorus.
Yes.
And I feel offended. And I think that we should all look at my shirt. And I'm saying, look at how attractive I look.
Yes.
And last Saturday I was preaching to girls in a high school. And I said, when I was young, I was very handsome. And I told them, when you attract men, don't feel angry. Ask them, what is it about me that attracts you? Yes. If it is my body, is it my intellect, is it my hair? Is it so that you make them to think, what is it that they are looking for in you, rather than just be defensive? So we should go on. Let me finish by saying, what is it that Kenya is doing? We are sending KDF to Somalia to go on the offense.
Yes.
And women should go on the offense. We are sending people to Sierra Leone to go. We are not waiting for Ebola at Kenya. We are going where it is.
Yes.
Go to where the pollution is coming from, those men's mind, and attack it there. Don't just be defensive because you are a woman.
Well, I would think that that's one side of the story.
Yes.
Because then I would like to
this is a libertarian view.
No, I actually think that it needs to be tempered. You see, if you go to the swimming pool to swim, you know what is appropriate dressing in the swimming pool.
Yes.
Nobody should come to the swimming pool and say, people are scantily dressed.
Yes.
You are here for swimming. And that's what he's saying. If it's time for breastfeeding and you remove your breast, everybody knows you are breastfeeding. Nobody says you are showing your body. But for heaven's sake, if you are in society, there is a level of common decency that is required. And I would suggest that the women liberation movement should not think that by this level of exposure, they are liberated. I don't think that is the equivalence of liberation.
Yes.
I think liberation should be in the mind. I agree with Njoya, liberation is in the mind, but it should also apply to the women liberation movement. Don't make your body... You see, once you have shown people everything, you are no longer interesting. Yeah, that's what they forget. And anybody, if a man is looking for a wife to marry, I can tell you who he will marry and who he will not. Yes. Because there is a certain expectation of common decency. It doesn't have to be us legislating what women should wear. It doesn't have to be us harassing women. Let them just think what is decent. And even men, I'm seeing young men today walking
With the sagging,
showing us
sagging
yes. No,
trousers.
why?
Yeah.
Is it because you have bought a designer something? What's wrong? It's a bad culture of society to try and destroy the common sense of values and decency that ought to be required. Let's maintain decency.
Yeah, I used to go to the mortuary. Let me just finish. I used to go to the mortuary, whether it's men or women, to observe post-mortem when people are killed or by members, and the members are questioning how their members died. Even now, I was in Kilifi one day, and I observed post-mortem, and I don't care if with their doctors, we are women, we are examining a woman. If you cannot do that, the position is in your mind. It's not in the dead. The person is dead. It doesn't. She's naked. She's not meant to attract you.
Yeah.
Treat even those women who want to go walking naked as like dead. Don't be polluted.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying, the source of evil is in the heart. That's what Jesus said.
Right.
That Jesus said that all what you see as in adultery, fornication, all this come from the heart of the person, not from the one you are looking at.
Yes.
And I think that if you are saved, and I tell all people now to be saved, those sins that are coming from their heart and they are attributing it to women, the problem is the man.
No, tell them. Timothy should also tell the people that the same Christ said,
yes,
woe unto those by whom temptation comes unto others.
Yes.
You know, temptation is sure to come.
So you should not tempt me.
Don't tempt people.
Yes.
I mean, Julie Gishuru was, I think, on Citizen last night, and
yes.
there's a statement she said.
Yes.
She said, you have a right to dress the way you want.
No one is moral police.
I also have a right
yes.
not to be exposed to what you want to expose me to.
Okay.
Both of us have rights. Let's look for what is the common
where
good.
do your rights and mine, you know, finally, I think we have to close this, but somebody says, can we draw the line between qualification and personal character? People like Kanyari may not have theological training and qualification. Well, Kanyari not particularly, but people like Kanyari. But they have what it takes, the calling perhaps. Is there such a thing? Two, somebody says, which is quite an interesting question, that if God speaks to me, do I need a license to talk about it?
Let me tell you about Kanyari. Please don't condemn Kanyari. He's had an investigation to be ordered.
Yes.
And we should wait. His mother was arrested and was judged and convicted.
Yes.
The moment the matter goes to that level,
yes,
we should wait for the law to take its place.
Yeah.
And now we are now bashing somebody.
Yeah.
What is what is the need of the law if you are going to condemn Kanyari before he is tried and convicted? So for me, Kanyari, you are innocent until you will be proven guilty.
Okay. Now, the question you have asked, I think, is a very important question.
Yes.
What we need to answer to all those Christians out there who sense that they have got a calling,
yes,
and that they need to be preaching. If you read the scriptures well, you'll discover that all the disciples were called, and Jesus put them in training for 3 years. They didn't just walk into the ministry.
Yes.
When Paul became a Christian, and he was the one who became a Christian after the others, there are a number of things about him that are important. He was very well schooled in Old Testament law to begin with. But secondly, he went to Jerusalem and he underwent training. A sense of development. I would advise anybody who senses to have a calling, please look for a respectable servant of God somewhere, operate under his ministry for some time. Get some learning, know how ministries happens. Because in the book of 1 Timothy chapter 3, it says that do not quickly lay your hands on anybody to make them a bishop.
Yes.
Because people who are novices have fallen into temptation and destroyed the ministry. The very thing you think is a very sharp calling can destroy you, because I can assure you, where you sit even now, you do not know half as much of the challenges of Christian ministry as you think you know. You need more than a calling. You need to develop certain fruit of the Spirit that sustains that level of ministry.
Okay, I think if you allow me, Reverend, I don't want to come back to you. Let's just leave your good thoughts where they are. You'll open another controversy. I want to thank you, Reverend Dr. Timothy Njoya and Oliver Kisaka from NCCK for sharing your perspectives on this matter, controversial matter. Thank you for watching Power Breakfast. Back to the music.